Hey. I was thinking about things that in this world are a mystery yet scientifically proven. And what came to mind was the double slit experiment. Have you heard about it? I get my details confused, so I'll just kind of jump to the end. The end result was that when a particle was fired through a slit and the camera was watching, the result at the end, so I think like on the bit of paper on the board, was like a pattern. But then when they turned the camera off, the pattern was different. Something like this. There's a lot more to it. This is just because I get things wrong. Right? It's embarrassing. So I know the end result. And yeah, and then they turned the camera on, and the particle that they fired through the double slit. That's what they call it, the double slit experiment. It not only did it choose which slit to go through, it only went through one of them, and it made a certain pattern. But then when they turned the camera off, it somehow went through both of them, and it made a different pattern. And they kept repeating this, and they kept coming up with the same result. So the conclusion that they came to is somehow the atom that's being fired knows whether it's being watched or not by a camera. And that's called the, let's see if I can say it without stuttering, the double slit experiment. So a bit like, fascinating, isn't it? How can an atom behave differently when it's being watched? How does it know it's being watched? And then I thought, here we go, my black and white thinking, are you ready? Here we go. And I thought, well, I act differently when I'm being watched, don't I? Like when I was at work being a ground worker, you go from site to site quite a lot. You're a bit like a little pirate in a pirate ship, doing your little van with your little tools, just going from site to site. You finish one site, you go to another one. And with the way I am, that I ended up leaving before the site was finished because I often get the sack. Luckily I had a dumper ticket, transport and tools, and like 4 or 5 years reference at the time. So getting a job, and that's when it was what I work about, getting a job was not a problem. In fact, once, there was a husband and wife running the site. They were building a school, and the wife, she was in charge. She was the forewoman, please forgive me, forewoman. And the husband, he was the engineer. Now, as people who work on building sites know, the engineer, you generally take instruction from the engineer because obviously who he is, and you need to get the things right. But you also take instruction from the forewoman. And I was there. I was there for 5 days initially. The first 5 days, 4 people quit and 1 person got sacked because they decided to stand there and give it and tell them what they thought of them instead of walking off. And every day it was just like, oh, what's going to happen today? It was exciting. Little did I know that I think the 6th day, that was my day. They one of them said to, I think the forewoman said to me, I'll go and do this. And I got the dumper, I was getting the gravel, whatever to do, whatever I was told to do. And of course the husband engineer comes up, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? You don't do that, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just, your wife told me to do it. No, don't do that. Oh, okay, I can understand now why everyone quits. So me being me, I took, and it's carried on as well. Then I got crap off her for not doing what she told me to do. So I'm more of a person of, right, let's tell them how it is. So in the office, I was like, you fucking idiots. So language, you idiots, you don't know what you're doing. No wonder everyone quits. And they went, well, just walk off. I went, I haven't finished yet. And I stayed there for another 5 minutes telling them how crap they were. Then I left. And the point is, on the way out, because it was a school, and it was early in the morning still, they'd shut the gate. I couldn't get out. I had to wait for another half an hour, something like that. So I'm sat in my car waiting for all the kids to finish playing so the gates could be open and our side could be released. And while I'm sat there, I found another job. Half an hour it took me to find another job. That's how easy it was to find jobs. But yeah, it's I forgot what I said now. That's like lights out the way. Lesson there, isn't there? What's the lesson? Don't take your partner to work. And if you do, make sure you're in charge of them. Don't go to work where you're on even keel, especially if you're telling people different things. I've done that BPD thing again. I can't remember what it was. Double slit experiment. I think I was talking about things that were unanswered in life. Oh yeah, Schrodinger's cat. That Schrodinger, he proposed that there's a cat in a box, but the box is sealed and it's shut and you can't see inside. Is the cat dead or alive? And he came up with the answer, because we don't know, the cat is both dead and alive at the same time. Oh, my brain hurts now. What? So, I'm not going to lie, I don't fully understand everything. Don't really understand that. But somehow, I think it makes sense, and other people say it makes sense. So it goes back again to the double slit thing, doesn't it? When you're being watched. Oh, that was it. Sorry, yeah. So when I go to build different building sites in my first day, I'm aware. Well, I was aware that everyone's watching you. But when you stand up and look around after you've been digging or shoveling or whatever, I guarantee everyone who was watching you will have quickly turned their head down and carried on. And the reason everyone's watching you is they want to see if you're any good or you're just some guy with a ticket and some tools. You know, and every site was like that. Every site was like that, and I knew after a while, second day, first week, everyone's watching you. They want to know what you're up to good, and even the foreman and the engineers are like, oh, you know, he might be capable of doing this, or maybe get him in a manhole benching and stuff like that. You know, so that was cool. Always good to show what you can do, and you know, be willing to do stuff. But yeah, I realised that everyone was watching me on the first few days, and I realised as well, I thought, I act different. I act different when I feel like I'm being watched, or if I know I'm being watched and I can't really feel it, I just know that's the situation I'm in. And it goes back again to the double slit experiment, doesn't it? The atom. I mean, we're made of atoms, and this atom knows when the camera is watching it and not, and it behaves differently. Now, isn't that interesting? How can a single atom be aware? And it actually went further. I think they fired the double slit experiment. Didn't they fire two atoms, and they responded to each other even though they were separately apart or something like that, which I think then gave the theory, right, well, if one atom can affect the other and they're not in close proximity to each other, I think that's where the theory of multiple universes came from, the multiverse. You know, if one thing's affecting another. So yeah, it's quite deep. It's probably a lot deeper than the stuff I've been talking about, really. The stuff I've been talking about, you see, I can get my head around it. This, atoms being fired, knowing when cameras are watching them, you know. So my point is, and we act like that as well. My building site little story, you know, I feel I do act different when I'm being watched. It's probably why I like living alone and with my animals and just being alone, because I can truly be myself, I suppose. I don't know. But the point is, there's a lot of things in life that are complete mysteries. You know, if you can explain the Schrodinger cat theory to me in a way that I understand, I'd definitely buy you a coffee, a cappuccino or whatever, because I don't understand that. I want to. But then that made me think,